United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone. When we call this meeting to order,
I have one in my mouth. Thank you, though.
we need approval of the agenda.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, first item is a public hearing fiscal year 25 proposed tax levy. This will be a public hearing portion. Want to start off with anything?
Sure. So we've gotten a lot of response to the letter that went out to everybody. A lot of confusion because it's the first year that we've done it, but I think a lot of people were happy, like when they came in and they figured out what we were trying to say in the letter. They liked the information, so I know it was a lot of cost for us to do that, but we didn't really have a choice. So just looking at the proposed levy, our current countywide levy is 7.69065. And our proposed levy is 7.60948, which is a reduction in the levy. The rural levy is currently at 8.01055. And the proposed is 7.86428. So that's that information. As far as the dollars, increase in the actual requested dollars on both the countywide and the rural. So while the levy went down, the tax dollars did increase a little. I haven't heard any public comment on the proposed levies. Obviously, we know that we can't go any higher than what is proposed, but we can go lower. So we still have a little bit of time if there needs to be some reductions made. I don't really have anything else unless anybody has any questions.
Does the board have? You will notice once we close out of this meeting, my only comment is I did for the next agenda, next meeting after this one. Item number 4, I did with fiscal year 25 county budget discussion. There are some areas that we need to look at, and like Courtney stated, we can decrease, but after we set these levy rates, we cannot increase from what we set them today. But going forward, until we do the final approval of the budget, we can decrease the budget.
On this, just another note on the levy, you have to give a reason why your proposed exceeds the current. While our proposed doesn't exceed the current, I did put a reason on because our dollars are a little more, and mainly it's employee salaries and then the increase in the property and liability insurance. Those were two things that I thought were probably the biggest. Because as you all know, salaries are a huge part of the budget.
Our property insurance went up 400,000, right?
It went up 9 grand.
Well, 90 from what we budgeted.
Yes, I'm sorry.
So, yeah.
Total.
Total was 400.
Sure.
I'm hoping that kind of tapers off maybe a little bit, because that was
huge.
a big jump for sure. And I mean, personally, I think everybody's went up, so we're not alone.
If there's no other public comments, we will come next meeting. Go ahead and close the public hearing. At 9:04, and we are in order to adjourn this first meeting.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Hello.
No, I was dying Thursday and Friday. I'm better.
So Courtney, I'm just curious, I know we have this meeting set for 9:15. Can we go ahead or do we wait?
Technically, we should probably wait for 10 minutes. Yeah, sorry, I
No,
didn't,
you're
I wasn't sure how long the hearing would take.
Yep. So in 10 minutes, we'll go back and we'll open up our
Regular.
Oh, that's not really.
You just gotta wait 2 minutes before you can start.
Public hearing lasts until 9:04.
Did it? Nice. We did ours.
I'm really trying to give the public times. No,
I just figured I'd sit here, so you guys had to run your business. Thank you, because you guys clearly know how to do that. So, yes.
I don't stand us to show it to you.
Did you have anybody show up there? No. Laura talked for 2.5 minutes.
Think she, I don't know, I might have,
Already made it probably close to that.
yeah.
Morning. Lisa.
Morning. Morning.
That's the boss. Laura. Or
Well, thank you.
they tell you what the money is. Go up there.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone.
She didn't have that.
Like, it's time to meet to order. We need approval of minutes from March 25th, 2024. The agenda first, please. Thanks, Jane.
Also move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approval now for the March 25th, 2024 minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for March 25th.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 1 is to approve plats. We have one for Neil Siebenauer and one for Matt Evans.
One down there in south is the flat off an acreage. And that's D-Wall Township, that's another one. And the other one is flattened up to that Our Lady of whatever.
Lady of
They
the Valley.
They sold those. Purchase.
So it appears like those all have access, so I can see it from.
Oh, that one's a little more intense.
It's confusing.
Yeah, it is, but
There's a lot of problems like that. I'll make a motion for it.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? I would agree with Gene. Land acquisition. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2 is to approve a Class C retail alcohol license for Carroll, Iowa Golf LLC. I'm pretty sure this is the country club.
yeah, this is, it's like the new LLC, the country club. I'll make a motion to approve this.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, authorize public health to obtain a credit card, and they're asking for a $5,000 limit through the department. Do you guys want to speak to it or?
If
If
you have
you
any
want,
questions.
question. Really the intent was to just reduce some accounting burden for both Carrie and Megan having to do public health purchases on their own department credit cards come July 1st, being that I will be the head of the department. It's somewhat unfair for me to ask other department heads to do purchases and claims and billing for departments they're not responsible for.
And the Board of Health already approved this, so it's just.
Yep. I do have the minutes and a letter of intent if you'd like to see it. Minutes are not approved from the last meeting, but are intended to be approved during our next meeting, May.
I see no issues in it. I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And I'll send you a letter that they approved that, and then I think that's what Dupaco wants to see is that letter.
Sounds good. Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, item number 4, fiscal year 25 Carroll County budget discussion. Like I referenced during our public hearing, there's just a couple items. To discuss, I know the most of it, majority of it has already been handled. I did want to make note that I reached out to the Carroll County Sheriff and the Carroll County Treasurer. And they're the two budgets that, in my opinion, we still have some questions on. Sheriff Pingree did answer. His reply to me was that any new hire will come in at 85%. And that's always been standard in our office. And the only questionable thing, so the money will be pretty much exact as the person that left because it was within a certain time frame. The only question would be is if it would be a single family policy or single policy, family policy, or no insurance. So it's left up to just the insurance piece of it. And then I did invite Lisa here this morning. She had sent out her explanation. She also has an open position as well. I invited you because if there was any questions, I wanted to be able to answer that, because currently we had a retiree, a person retire, and the position is still open until the 5th. Correct. Okay. Till the 5th, and Pat's wages, I think I sent to everybody what she was going out as making as far as salary, FICA, IPERS, and insurance as a total, and then your request.
She had a single policy for hers.
Yes. I think that's what I sent out, but with that, you sent the spreadsheet with a new hire. And I, starting at,
Around that amount, yeah.
Okay.
But then I factored in possibly a family policy. Because the last couple hires we did have was more of a family policy.
Okay.
Just for an estimate to go by.
Which is right here. Right.
Yes.
I guess my own.
And I did with that being said too, I did have to switch some people around, like on the budget that we originally discussed. Because there was a couple girls on, because on mine, I have 3 different fund lines.
Yep.
So people did get moved from one function line to another function line, so that's why those amounts changed versus just one line. Does that make sense? So like Pat was in driver's license, but now Kayla moved to driver's license. So the new hire actually would be in my function line where I took Kayla out of my function line.
The new hire wouldn't be in,
The new hire would be in with the treasure management services function,
Okay.
that 90
Versus motor vehicle.
versus motor vehicle. Right.
I see.
So you're not hiring somebody to replace that in.
We bumped Kayla up from being in my function line to the driver's license. So the new person would actually be cross-trained just like Kayla was. So she would do driver's license plus both the motor vehicle and taxes and titles. Emphasis on driver's license. Because that seems to be 3 days a week or 2 days a week we're still gonna drive, and then there'll be a lot of cross training on that.
So who all moved? Kayla moved.
Kayla moved to driver's
Yep.
license. Then Casey and Danielle, I believe, are still on the same motor vehicle registration line.
Okay.
And then so my function would be myself, Brooke, and the new hire.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So you went from Pat's salary to Russ, approximately around 40,000 salary. And I took off the single policy and added on the family policy as estimate for insurance.
According to this spreadsheet, are you talking about increasing deputies also?
I was because they're still not at 80% or 85%. I increased 1 to 2%.
So you're still talking about.
So there's
increasing.
still increase to one, the highest one would be 76%. That's a 1% increase.
I think originally when we came, that what you said that we didn't want any increases in there.
No one told me no, they just didn't approve it yet. I just wondered, because when I hired them, I never gave them automatically to 85%.
I don't think anybody does though.
No, nobody does that.
Except for, let me rephrase, the sheriff's deputies. Yeah, I guess. My concern with this is we said 3.2 across the board for everybody, no ifs, ands, and buts, and I kind of thought that meant, and then seeing the percentages change, I think that probably is what caught me off guard just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was just hoping that I could get them up 1%, 2% off because, they are. I did give them that 80% right away. I think the one is at 53%, one's at 71%, 69%, so, I mean, I was just asking, it doesn't mean. That's my job too for them, is to try to ask for them
Yes,
too.
advocate for your town, yeah, we understand.
We had the ambulance asked too, and they wanted some things to eat. Ellen's a 3.2 conservation. So. That needs to be. For this year needs to be taken out.
Okay,
I
so
will,
then I'll take that back down, then each of those back down, and like I said, I mean, I estimated that starting salary only because what we hired someone at a year ago.
Our next question. Is Carroll Larson.
Yeah.
I see she started at 39, you're gonna start moving at 40. Was you kind of giving her a 3.2 then also? Like, are you talking about raising her 2,000? In this scenario, you're talking raising her 2,000.
I was going to try to just so she'd be a little bit different from what starting salary of the other one would be.
That's why I'm kind of questioning, did you make any commitments to her when you, on a new hire, after so much time?
No, and that's why I would like, even like Danielle, who's been there since 2020, her starting salary was so much lower than the other ones, that's why we're trying to spread them out a little bit to give them the recognition for their time and their service that they put into the county. If you have Kayla's, at 39, and you're starting a new one at 40, hopefully,
And the 39, if you have.
and the other one's still just at 42.
And the new one, if you start her at 39, give her 3.2, that'd be over 40,000, 248. And I wouldn't be opposed to making that 41, I mean. Okay, well, what the rest think? I mean, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You want to have her have a step there. I mean, you don't want to hire somebody more than what somebody else is getting paid.
absolutely.
You guys agree with that?
I do.
I do, but
Yeah.
I-
So you could probably vote her at 40,
So Kayla 41,
then take out all the other increases.
and then just leave Daniel at the 3.2,
Yeah, 3.2, yeah.
and then the rest still at just 3.2. Okay, and then are you thinking also with factoring a family policy for the new hire or factor in a single policy?
They don't usually figure single, and then if we have to, or
A budget amendment.
That's how it's been done in
Yeah.
other departments, yeah.
So factor in a single policy, and then if we have to, we can do a budget amendment
Okay.
to move in a family policy.
I voiced my concerns to these guys once already, but, I do, well, I give you props for I'm trying to get their percentages raised, the deputy percentage, but I do, would like people to come ask that, before, like, say next year, say you're gonna do it again next year. I'd like to ask that before the, committee, I'm drawing a blank. Compensation board gets together and then it doesn't look skewed at all on any part,
And I had that on there
Yeah.
when we got together and talked and stuff too.
Having more of a
We'll ask before
rough draft.
before
by
you know-
compensation board.
Yeah.
before the comp says, oh, it's a 7% or a 2%, or before you know that raise. and then coming after and asking, I'd like that from everybody on that, you know what I mean? So. It's a cleaner slate. So,
And I want to clarify something on the sheriff. The new deputy then started 85% of his wage, they started 85% of the current deputy's wage.
Correct, sorry, thank you for the clarification.
Because when Lisa was saying, none of her people are 85, and you said the sheriff hires 85.
Not of
85%
his
of the-
salary,
Of the current rate of the deputy.
current deputy rate, yes.
thank you.
That's. Like the necessary.
So is that all straight?
Okay. Is there any other budget discussions we want to have?
I thought just the comm center and the sheriff, which I think you guys handled, was the only question. I
Comm
had.
center is still has, the position open, and the sheriff has received applications for the deputy's position. But I don't think that that closes until middle of the month, yeah. Yep. Okay. All right, item number, thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Item number 5 is to set the public hearing for fiscal year 25, the second public hearing, and I think you were projecting for April 22nd.
Correct, 9:30.
I'll make a motion to approve, set the public hearing for April 22nd, 9:30.
Second.
That'll be the final one, right?
Correct.
The motion and a
Yes.
motion and a second, any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And you're gonna make those adjustments in that budget. Final budget, what she's got.
Yes.
Interview.
Well, I'm gonna have to, because if she moved people from different function areas, it's not correct.
But I mean, that's gonna be less.
Yes, I might have a couple questions for clarification, but I can do that.
Thank you, Courtney.
Yep.
All right, there was a motion and a second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. The second public hearing is scheduled for April 22nd, 9:30. Item number 6 is to discuss supervisor boardroom furniture. I had sent out an email last week, I met with Stones, to discuss. Basically, there's 4 things that will be coming, there's a few things that hasn't been sent out via quote, but boardroom chairs, which all of them would match, including one for Courtney. I also had him, I don't have the drawing in front of me, so I left it with Stones, but there's a table. That if anybody comes and presents to the board of supervisors, there's 3 chairs there, that they can sit there and present to the board. So there's that table that we also are gonna be quoting. And I'm unsure. I think did we leave, we left 2 filing cabinets for the board of supervisors, but they have to be found. We haven't found them yet. There's a table from the state that I think we might ask the state if they no longer need it, it'll go into our supervisor room back in that closet. To repurpose one of the room or tables. We might have to look in that same area for the 2 filing cabinets, maybe. But I also had him throw on 2 filing cabinets, I think, and I don't think we'll have to purchase those, because I think if we went down to the basement. There probably is 2 empty ones down in that room somewhere, or 1, we just need 1 or 2 4 drawers.
So were they building those drawers into each side, or were we? putting
No.
file cabinet there? Put a short file cabinet. there?
There's not room for a filing cabinet.
Okay, no.
And then if you're ever looking at the drawing.
So the filing cabinets would go back into that little office, if you will. You just have to, if you have to run and grab something.
I'm pretty sure we can find a filing cabinet.
Yeah. And then I also am having him quote chairs for the public as well, so. We don't have to make a decision today. I think everybody in this room has gone and sat in a chair at Stone's. I don't think we make a decision until he tells us our exact dollar amount of what we've been paying for a chair,
Correct.
so. But
Uh,
thank you for going and sitting in them.
this ain't really boardroom furniture, I don't know if it says, but what about on the upstairs of the glass? They're putting glass in there yet? Does that have to be?
2.5 weeks out, that was the security people.
Instead of those.
Yeah.
Up at night.
He said the accordion doors.
Yeah, no, it's glass.
To keep counter jumpers away from getting in the offices.
I really like it without it right now.
I like it without it too, but it's just not secure.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But people upstairs in the courts actually like it, at first they did, like it, but they do like it now. I think you went up with me, didn't you? Talk to him now.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's kind
I
of.
would agree, I do like
I'll
the
open it.
not having
Yeah.
it, and it's inviting, but for secure purposes, when like, let's say. The recorder has to lock up early and leave, or for some reason,
Yeah.
another office, they need to be able to lock their.
Yeah,
I'm planning on trying to find something that's a little portable, like for a counter, so like if somebody wants to come in and look at a plat book or something. It doesn't work when there's glass there, because, you know, you're. But if they could come in and look at it in the office.
I agree.
That would be
I think
better.
actually it's got something to offer into. Or
Yeah, cause sometimes, you know, trying to look at a plat map,
it's not easy.
that's not gonna work,
But
but
then you also remember during that pandemic. Plastics.
I understand. It's part of it. It just was,
It can be removed, but it's going in.
Okay.
2 weeks.
2 weeks out, yeah.
So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention as far as furniture and when
But you
Thank
said
you.
there's a lead time.
there's a 4 to 6 week lead time on anything that we do. I'm gonna follow up, email him today to see if we can get. Well, on probably 2 chairs and then the rest of the furniture.
Within a month or so, we need to order.
Well, like I said, I went up there and I looked at them, and that one I liked was the lazy.
Laser toilets and things, second favorite.
How are we coming, within budget of that deal?
That's, we got 50,000, I think, set aside for the boardroom furnishings.
Which I don't think we'll do.
Well, we haven't, so there's a meeting I'll talk about later, but on the electronics too, we got about
Oh,
TVs.
yeah.
There's a lot of purchasing.
But
Yeah,
I think Dalton kind of gear us in the right direction as far as getting something.
Yep.
And I did, when I was at Stone's, I made it very clear, I said, we don't need Cadillacs, but I also don't want the cheap.
Yep.
I used your words between.
Well, thank you.
You say that's cool.
It does need to be done.
Yep.
But at the same time, I think, you know, like I told some, that is gonna be where we're gonna impress people. And the good. And the other thing, I was looking at this, I'm as guilty as that, like anybody, but. Some of the chairs won't have the highest rating. And so I think. That, I think there's going to be a tendency people get rolled.
well, and I asked about that, and he said that that when they do that, it's for like somebody sitting in it for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
So if you're only in it for several hours a week versus if
But, you know, I don't sit my 8 hours a day at home either, but I got
Yeah.
on the head before this they had problems, so. And the other thing, he did tell me that one other chair that had some issues with separation of letter.
Mm,
Okay.
Well, I guess I don't like to go to another place, but I go, but. I think there's longevity and the chairs that we had in the boardroom before that. They've been around as long as I know.
I'll keep pursuing it, and you guys will see, well, you know,
But I definitely do think those chairs by that table need to have cash.
Okay.
So they can easier for them to get up.
so the general public chairs. And I did request them that they be hard surface, so that if they ever need to be wiped down. they're not-
something like this.
Yes,
Yeah.
Staff.
the general public chairs will be not on casters, but those 3 that would be maybe potentially presenting would be on casters, so you can get in.
yes.
And probably have another patio. Okay. Well, thank you, and next item is community reports.
I can go. Last week I went to, did a walk through the courthouse, pestered you on some 2080 and there are a few other ladies up there. This morning I had a Republican meeting. Tonight I'm going to that Lauderdale 2 mile radius, discussion. And I have newspaper and radio today.
Yeah, thanks. Monday after our board meeting, Stephanie and I went and met with Carroll Rotary and gave them an update on the calendar. I thought that went very well. There's a lot of good questions asked us. Tonight I had policy council out at New Opportunities for Head Start. Looking at some changes in school partnerships, they think that there's going to be some changes coming down with the state and stuff that may affect some of our partnerships. And, we did, present the audit to the policy council, which was a clean audit for the agency. They are applied for the 2023-24 COLA application, which is going to be 2.3. We did approve a submission of carryover year one funds. Part of that is going to be utilized for the garage that they're building out there. We're looking at also some of the change in districts. We also with change in district, we did a conversion application. So we've been having a hard time keeping the number of kids in the Head Start. So we're going to reduce that number, apply for a reduction in that, and increase the number in early Head Start. That's again because of the stuff that they think in the next year or two is going to be kind of the early, the schools are taking over all that 4 to 5 years.
3 to 5.
No, the earliest are 3 to 5.
Is there a reason? I mean,
Because the state just tried to get a bill to what do you call it? It's early, they have early.
oh, yeah, 3-year-old preschool, but it's,
Yeah, but
Okay.
I can't
Okay.
remember, but anyway. So that was that, then on Thursday or Wednesday, I had Rolling Hills Mental Health. Basically went through the financials. We did table request for some funding on DCAT coordinators. We did that last month. We still haven't gotten enough answers on that. We did approve the financials, like I said, fund balance of $5,851,589.70. Then Crichton Center requested some funds for training, and we approved that. It was $10,298. And then Plains Mental Health presented their budget to us for the year, and this is all up in the air with this mental health reorganization. But we have to have some contingencies in place. So they came and presented their total budget to the region for $2,878,075. Then on Thursday, I had a new opportunity board meeting. We went through all the same stuff on the policy council, like I told you. We did award a parking garage contract to Hume Construction to build a garage out there. There was just a little over 500,000 that came in at 600,000. We got it worked down to 500,000 by doing some changes, and that is subject to the feds approving.
What's gonna park it? What's gonna park it?
Well, they're all their agency cars.
is it gonna be concrete or dirt?
It'll be concrete. Because they're gonna put heat in there too. And there's one room that's in there for like where to keep the WIC program, so they keep some of their supplies in there, so they don't carry it in and out all the time. And that was basically that on that. Friday, I did tour the courthouse up there, and then I did respond back to an issue in regard to a gentleman with on the secondary roads about the dust control, and if he didn't do it, what are the options were, and so I did reply back to that. This week I have Tuesday I have CCGP, and Wednesday I have Carroll Housing Assessment. Not much there.
Last week, Tuesday morning, Stephanie, Zach, Courtney and I met with Tony, Katie and Jerry on the election room storage equipment, and then the old jail wall. I did go to Stones and sit in the chairs. Wednesday, I went to Carroll County Leadership Institute and spoke on county government. I also wrote 4 letters to the Iowa Prison Industries counselors for the 4 inmates that were here. Thursday, I did a ride along with a deputy and spent a lot of time on the county roads. I thought they were in very good shape compared to a week ago where all the complaints we were getting. Friday, Dalton and I went over to City Hall to look at ahead for how the city hall visual, audio, the screens on the walls, what we're gonna need to purchase. And then, I had somebody call me on drain 77 and flooding concerns. So I went down and looked at, the two chutes that were put in down there on drain 77 behind Houseby. And I talked to Zach and, he said, yeah, the DNR and Army Corps of Engineers, they both approved the work. This week, Tuesday, tomorrow, Jane, we have CCTP board. And Thursday is, I'm gonna go out and look at road claims, Friday courthouse payables. Friday also, Paulette from the Carroll County Ambulance Service is retiring in Coon Rapids or something else from 1 to 3. And then maybe county attorney said maybe he's got some free time to meet with me on Friday.
So that's Friday from 1 to 3.
Yep, down in Coon Rapids at City Hall. And then, do we owe, did anybody or do we owe new opportunities and Manny in a letter about those funds that we had up for 7 months?
I'm gonna be tied up. I don't wanna put a date on that, but
No, do we want to let them know that there's no decision and it was just a thought?
what do you think?
How they should, so they don't get.
So they're not-
For the card.
Yeah, so they're not planning on, well, I mean, I don't know, yeah. But I mean, I think we're smart in waiting because, I mean, every county's so different. Public health is taken over. We learned to dissect a lot of the monies. But that's just a thought. And then,
Those public health that are doing that are probably more. Larger counties are more involved too.
has anybody received, or the conference board received a letter of, that our assessors leaving us? I saw the job posting go out. Have we been formally notified of that?
Mhm.
Or when are, okay, so how did, is that getting the cart before the horse?
I'm assuming she would have given the conference board.
Yeah, but I think we're on the conference board. I've seen nothing.
Mhm.
She mentioned that she.
Yeah, I don't know the date, but I saw the.
It wasn't a formal,
It's July 1st.
normally you receive a formal.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we haven't got that. I was just wondering if maybe if you
I
got
haven't
it.
seen anything.
Okay. And then also Saturday I emailed with Johnson and his mother.
We like me to send an email to.
Same.
Just saying we haven't seen her.
Yeah, I would, I think we need some type of formal notification.
Okay.
And we send you off.
Yep.
And
I do think.
Anybody else want to have any of this?
I'll do it.
Courtney, I think when we do get done with the budget, those, all those, control nonprofits, I think we need to let them know where they're at, so they're not, if they're gonna do the same.
That was on my list of things, county attorney about was, do we want to enclose when their July 1 payment goes out that don't count on our future funding? But nicely worded.
I think we need to review that process in general, whether it's the application, financials, pieces of it. There are some that I do believe we need to see the financial sides of it, like other government entities, Region 12. Elder Bridge is kind of nice to see. I don't know so much if I hear what's in their checking account, but I like to see our return.
Turn on it, yeah.
There are counties, quite a few counties that do not give to nonprofits. And it could be, yeah, it could be one of those scenarios, we're not closing the door, but if you have a real need, like. You're not gonna be able to function because something catastrophic kind of happened.
Correct.
Maybe that needs to be an agenda item so we can discuss it further. I can go next. Last week I met with Zach outside of the board meeting. I had to re-sign the Silver Queen contract. I had signed it with my signature, but didn't put my printed name on it, so that was that. You guys already approved me to sign it. I didn't re-sign a contract did not change. So at the courthouse, like Scott had mentioned, did reach out to the sheriff and the treasurer to receive their updated potential budgets. Went to Stones to meet with them on furnishings for the board of supervisors room. Had the road review with Gene, this morning had the Republican meeting. This week I do have a housing meeting on Wednesday evening. I will be meeting back with Stones to address the furniture. And I will also send out an email to the assessor for the letter of retirement. And I will email new opportunities in Manning in reference to the opioid settlement funds. That is all I think I have this week.
County, there's that housing thing, Tuesday or Wednesday?
That is Wednesday at 5 at the chamber office. And it is, I mean, can he? There's all sorts.
No, I don't need that, I just.
There's gonna be a few more folks there.
Do it by invite.
I think.
That's fine.
Courtney, what do you have?
I don't really have anything. I will be out of the office on Wednesday in Denison for election training, so. Getting ready for the primary in June.
Is next Monday, Bill Dix?
I think so.
Yeah. Probably will be the 15th, I'm guessing.
Okay.
8th is a little early, but I can confirm that with Emily when I get back to the office.
Comments from those in attendance?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion carries.